Hello, world. This is Darin Martineau from Master of Magic University. And in this video, I'm going to do a review of a new book, which is from my friend Jason Bird, and it's called Strolling for Dollars. Yes, this is absolutely wonderful. And the first day I got it, I've already read to page 72, but I've read all throughout the book, kind of skipped around, uh, which is something I like to do. I know as magicians, we kind of have a tendency to skip all over the place depending on what we're working on. But I give this 10 stars, not only because he's my friend, but just because I know how professional and how incredible Jason Bird is. So if you're watching Jason Bird, God bless you and I love you. And so contents, I could go on and on and on. This is going to be multiple videos. So chapter one is before the gig. What's your character? What to wear? How much magic do you really need? These are all questions that are very important, by the way. Effect selection, leaving them with something. Building your set, how to practice deeper versus wider, tricks resetting, performance angles, being prepared, pocket management, the approach, your first group, borrowing objects, performance space management, handling difficult audience members, such as hecklers, dealing with event staff. I could go on and on and on and on. Okay, so chapter one is before the gig. Chapter two is at the gig. Chapter three, other considerations. Then he goes into um, the business of magic, and he talks about marketing materials and photos and business cards and videos and website, social media, handling the gig. Now, there's an important reason why I got this book. And in the back of the book, there's interviews with many incredible magicians. There's an important reason why I got this book. I've been a professional magician for many, many years, but I've also taken a break and I'm also a creator of magic. But I've promised myself that I am going to be a full-time professional magician again. And so I'm going in the direction. So the business is actually more important than the magic itself. Well, they're very important. It's not to say one without the other, but this book is just it's great. It's such a great book. So I give it my highest recommendation. And I'm going to talk about a lot of the things that he talks about in this book. He talks about pocket management, which is very important. One of the things in the book he talks about, a lot of magicians will stuff their pockets and they're bulging out. And it's like, you know, is that a Kennedy box? Or are you happy to see me? You know, he makes a lot of jokes. But the point is, when you're wearing, a nice suit, you don't put it in your outer pockets because it's the same reason why dove workers have the inner pockets for their doves, so you don't have that bulge. And you either put it in your back pocket or you put it in a different pocket because you want the nice, they call it the line in fashion. So I can't say good enough things about this book. I highly recommend it. Even if you're not trying to be a professional, just the advice alone in this book is the book is it's 500 and how many pages are it? Let's see. So it's 500, 554 pages. Okay, so inside this book, you will learn what to wear as a magician, what effects to select, how to build a killer walk around set. Now, for me, I cut my teeth on strolling magic. I started in restaurant magic and everything like this. I love strolling magic, but my favorite is actually doing a set show, which is what I'm working on. I'm working on a stage, currently working on a stage show, which, there's an old joke, that he says in here, and that is the illusionist spent $2 million on his show, and he didn't even make, $1 million, whatever. The point is, it's always the old age-old debate, right, of the illusionist versus the sleight of hand, and it reminds me of, like kung fu versus grappling. It's like yin yang. You can't have one without the other. I remember Michael Skinner saying that 90% of magic is presentation, and this is very true. It is very true. So the purpose of this book is to not only for strolling magic, because there's many advantages that he talks about strolling magic, because it's easier to get work. With that said, even if nothing else, not only the business, just learning how to structure your show properly and learning how to organize yourself with not only the structure of magic but the professionalism. So there's lots of things. So I give it a 10. That's a 10 out of on a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10. Why? Is because it's a very thorough book. He also interviews a ton of magicians in the back of the book, and it's just absolutely incredible. So go get your copy today. I highly recommend it.